I feel like they turned out a little bit stiff. I wanted more loose, but I also wanted them to look like the person that I was drawing. So yeah, let me know what you think. This is a video about why and how I do fan arts as an exercise to improve drawings and my art style. Every month I pick up a challenge and I do it. So I do these exercises to help me improve my drawings and also practice my style. This month I have challenged myself to do fan arts. Over this month I have did several fan arts of my favorite shows, and I thought of making this video to share what I have learned doing these exercises in hopes that you might find some inspiration and helpful tips throughout this video. One is Eloise from Bridgerton. I really hope you got that before I have mentioned. I wanted these fan arts to resemble the person, but I also wanted loose lines and the texture. So I was not going for an exact match, but some sort of resemblance. Throughout these drawings, I was just adding my own style a little bit. I observed that when my lines were getting more and more loose, I was also losing the likeness. The best thing about this exercise is it puts a pressure on you to keep the character's essence and add your own spin on it. I like the fact that it forced me to get the likeness but also keep a style, which was a lot harder because when you change stuff, the likeness also goes away. So there are a bunch of things that I did when I was trying to keep the likeness. I was focusing on the face and the facial features, but not just that. I was also focusing on the overall essence. Point of doing this fan art so people can tell who you are drawing, right? Although I wanted the likeness, it's not just the eyes or the shape of the nose or the facial structures that I was focusing on. When you draw a character, you get to see what are the other stuffs. What's the hairstyle that the character is having or clothes that they are wearing. And overall, the vibe of this character is giving to you. I felt the same way when I was drawing these. So just for the story, I'll tell you something. When I was designing this drawing, the necklace from the reference that I took for this first one, it was a bit chunky, which means that if I put it, it would have made the drawing a little bit more clumsy, which I didn't want. So I went for much simple style, and I took a jewelry that she was wearing in another shot and put it there. It was a much more simple design. Now, does it affect the likeness? No, it didn't affect the likeness at all. But the design, it affected the design. It made it more simple and clean. I have done these drawings in 4 sessions in a span of 3 days. So before starting the first one, there was like a bit of gap. I think I was getting back into the drawing. So I felt like I was a bit heavy-handed. I can tell the lines that I was making was a little bit heavy, and the overall sketch that I made was a little bit, took a little bit of time. But the second one was much, much better. And the results was also really, I was satisfied with the results of the second one. That's why actually I put it in the thumbnail, because I liked it so much. If you check the references I'm using for these drawings, I put them in the description. You can tell that I'm not directly copying the images, but I'm kind of picking and choosing, and hence forcing myself to find creative ways to draw what I see. So it's actually helping me to keep reinventing and being creative and not mindlessly copying the references. I like doing this exercise because it's just not copying, it's also picking and choosing. It's a fun way to being creative and play with the design, play with the study itself. I'm picking the essence here and not just the exact photocopy, and adding my own spin on it. It's much fun this way. When we think about fan arts and when we think about likeness, we put a lot of pressure. Since I'm not too uptight with the exact likeness, it sort of looked like the person. I was having a lot of fun and a lot of freedom to add texture more, to have fun with these studies, and just to have like more and more playtime. And I personally think art is already very hard, and I don't want to put pressure on myself. When people talk about challenges, I always think, oh my god, it has to become a big thing, you know, you have to suffer a little bit when you're doing these challenges. And my perspective changed a little because I want to play with them. I am having a fun way of learning and fun way of practicing rather than putting a lot of pressure. I hope that makes sense. To end the video, the one tip I want to leave you with is face is not the only one thing that gives likeness. If you like to see resemblance in your drawings, look for what kind of hairstyle the person is wearing, or what kind of clothing the person is having, or the jewelry, etc. That matters too. There you go, these two drawings that I did from this exercise. I will do one more of Queen, this reference. If you want to practice this exercise with me, I will do a real-time version where I will show the process, like how I'm using multiple images and kind of merging them together to do this. Also talk more about my thinking process when I'm designing it, how I'm making this loose and keeping it loose. So it will be a very long video and it's not ideal for YouTube. So I'm gonna put it on Patreon for all of you who wants to watch. By the way, thank you everybody who clicked on this video and watch and support my tiny channel on YouTube. I read all of your comments. They are really encouraging. Thank you for putting them. And yeah, I'll meet you guys again soon. Bye.